Hey, so this is a little side series I'm going to do called Cold-Hearted Complaints Off Topic. Now, typically with my channel, I talk about movies, video games, or anime, but today I want to talk about something different. So, these videos are going to be rare and frequent. You're barely ever going to see them, but it's something I wanted to do because this is my channel, and I like to talk about things I like to talk about. So, here I go. This is Cold-Hearted Complaints Off Topic. Now, this is a video I've thought of doing for months, but I didn't really know what the purpose of it was. It didn't fit what my channel is. It's a little weird, a little specific, a little more personal, which is not something I really like to get into. But I kept thinking about it so much, and I finally decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. So, this is me doing it. Now, I started this channel making videos to talk about what's important to me. Among one of the most important things to me is sports, specifically the Seattle Seahawks and Mariners. Now, for a little backstory on me, I'm not from Seattle. I was born in the Bay Area and raised in Fort Worth, Texas until about 14 years ago. God, it's been that long. 14 years ago, my family moved to Washington. I wasn't raised to be a Seahawks or Mariners fan. It wasn't something that was passed down to me. I decided to be a fan of these teams because I generally love them. Now, I could have been a fan of teams more rooted in my childhood, like the Texas Rangers, or teams from my home area, the Bay Area, which are now most of the teams I hate, which is really weird. For me, it all started back in 2006, right? Okay, so my dad was watching the NFC Championship game, the Carolina Panthers versus the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks are just blowing the doors off of them, right? And I wasn't really paying attention to the game. I was like looking over and I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's a game. I don't know what the importance of it was. I didn't know anything what was going on. And then I saw after the game, there was a big ceremony, you know, Matt Hasselbeck's holding up this huge trophy. There's fireworks everywhere, and there's confetti flying down. I'm like, well, what's going on? Why are these people so excited? Fireworks going off everywhere. I'm like, why is everyone so excited? Did they win a game? They had this little graphic, and I will never forget this graphic. It's this little legal pad little looking thing on the bottom of the screen, and it had a list of teams that had never been in the Super Bowl. There was a Seattle Seahawks at the top, and this pencil came across, and it just struck the name off, right? And I'm like, wow, I'm seeing history. I'm seeing something important for this area. At school, we had this whole day, Seahawks Day, where everyone would wear all their Seahawks gear, and we'd all celebrate. We're all like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna fucking do it, man. And I was pumped. I didn't have any Seahawks gear. I didn't really know much of what was going on, but I was so pumped for this, right? And what I saw when Super Bowl 40 came around has molded my life forever. Because I have always thought that building a love of a sport, or building a love of a team based off of victory, that's one thing. You know, it's like, oh man, these guys are doing really cool. I'm going to root for them. Good for you, doing really good. And then when they lose, you're like, ah, fuck these guys. But a fandom born of hateful misery, that's a fandom that lasts. And that's what I got, because Super Bowl 40 was disgusting, horrible, terribly refereed, and I will hate the Pittsburgh Steelers forever. There's a lot that could be said about that game, but if it wasn't for the way it turned out, I really don't know if I would have been as passionate about the Seahawks as I would have been, because my love of them came from like pride of them doing something good, something for the first time. Like, you went to the Super Bowl, you have this chance, you know, you're the underdog, and after seeing them get like cheated like that, pissed me off to no end. And I just kept rooting for him. Like, you have to get back to there. You have to prove that you guys can do it, right? And that wouldn't happen for another 9 years. 8 years. 8 years. Jesus. The Seahawks were a team I was always going to root for at that point. They were my team. But I still wasn't watching every game, you know. I remember a lot of games watching them, being super excited when they came at some come-behind victories. There's one playoff game I'll never forget against the Packers where the Seahawks went up by 14 early in the first quarter. We're up by 14. We're doing great. We're rolling. And then the snow comes, right? Like, on cue, Wisconsin knows, oh, fuck, and just throws a bunch of snow at the field, right? And the Seahawks they can't keep up with it. Like, and it just favored the Packers so much. They just destroyed us right after that started happening. It was like on cue, right? It was so weird. Now, as I said, that's what got me started into loving sports. That's why I'm passionate about it. And when I get really passionate about things, like when I really, really get passionate about things, I decide to look them up, right? I will research them endlessly. I will look into every website I can find, you know, all the information I can get, the history of the team, previous good players, you know, great stories about the team, when it was founded, all this kind of stuff. Someone researching it, I found out about the former greats like Steve Largent, Kenny Easley, Cortez Kennedy. I appreciated Walter Jones more because at that point I really didn't know much about him. You know, I didn't understand consistently great he'd been. You know, when you're younger, you don't really get offensive line play, but it's my excuse and I'm sticking with it. And then in about 2012, I started working in Portland, right? And to get to Portland, I had to drive about 30 minutes total on the freeway down there. And it's a long drive. I had a really crappy CD player that didn't work sometimes. And one day I found a Mariners game on there. And I'm like, oh, cool, Mariners game. Let's go listen to this. Makes the time go by quick. Baseball on the radio is really fun, actually. You get a really good picture of what's going on. It works really great. Baseball is a sport that translates so well to radio. It was incredibly relaxing. Just driving down, just listen to a Mariners game, you know. Sometimes they'd hit home runs, sometimes they lose. I feel happy or sad, but I wouldn't really get too thrown in with emotions, you know, because this is something casually I'm listening to before going to work. Or after work sometimes, which is even better. Now, from there, I started learning about the Mariners. I was learning about Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Randy Johnson, understanding Felix Hernandez, whose jersey I'm wearing today. I already knew about Ichiro Suzuki, because back when I was in 8th grade, we went on a trip to a Mariners game, right? And I see this guy I'm up in the nosebleeds, and I see this guy down there. He's going up to bat, and he's got his arm out like this, whipped up way out like this, you know, whips it around, you know, twirls his bat a bit. And he's holding it out like this, does this. I love that pose. And the whole crowd's chanting with him like, Ichiro, Ichiro, Ichiro. So that's a little good brief summary on how I got into those teams. I also follow the Portland Trailblazers, not as much because I don't really have their network up here. It's a Comcast thing. And yeah. I have this jersey above my desk, nice Seattle Sounders jersey, framed all nicely. It's signed by the entire 2014 team. Never watched a single Sounders game. It's a nice decoration, though. I'm just not into soccer, guys. Sorry. I have given it a try. I've tried soccer. It's just not my thing. I just don't get it. So nowadays, I have a collection of Seahawks gear that is just way too much, right? It became a thing with my family is whenever they need to get me a present, I just decide, oh, just give them some Seahawks. And, you know, I'm not complaining. I like getting all this stuff. Ooh, I got a Seahawks spatula, got that. And an apron. And an oven mitt. Jesus Christ. Merchandising, people, merchandising. I have for Mariners stuff, I have a Mariners jersey, of course. My girlfriend has some Mariners shirts. I have some Mariners shirts. Some Mariners socks. Best thing about baseball is, especially in Seattle, is they give you out so much shit. All right, I have a whole bunch of bobbleheads. Let me show you some of those now. You might see this one in the background of some of my videos, some of the older videos I did. Macklemore. Well, that was a New York Yankees game me and my girlfriend went to. They gave us Macklemore bobbleheads. That game was special because I just mentioned Ichiro. Ichiro came back. He played with the Yankees at that time after we traded him to him. And Ichiro murdered us that game. Like, he was the reason we lost that game. I still chanted Ichiro every time we went up to bat because I still love Ichiro, you know. This one has some sentimental stuff with me. This is Fernando Rodney. Fernando Rodney played with the Seattle Mariners for about 2 years. He was a closer. One really good year, one really bad. And I had a friend who I met last year. We went to a couple Mariners games. I got Fernando Rodney bobbleheads one game. And we just talked for most of the game about how much he hated him and how much I thought he was all right, you know, because I was basing it off of the previous year when he was awesome, you know. And he's just like, whatever. We won that game, and then the next game we go to, right, we get Kyle Seager bobbleheads. Kyle Seager, look at that beautiful guy. One of my favorite players. Got a little gold glove to symbolize his great defensive efforts. That game, Fernando Rodney comes in the ninth and gives up a 2-run lead to make the game go into extra innings, because with baseball, you know, when you're tied, you keep playing until someone wins. It's a weird sport. It's awesome. So my friend is sitting next to me, and he just stands up, and he just starts screaming at he starts yelling really loudly at the field, just yelling, "You suck, Fernando Rodney!" And he's just like, what is with this guy, you know? Everyone, we're up in the 300 section, up in the nosebleeds, like right against the railing, but we're up there. And there's some people around us, like some older people and some families. And he's just sitting up here screaming. I'm just sitting there, like, just laughing my ass off because it's so fucking funny. People around the area agreed with him after he was done. They're like, "Hey, you were right." And he's like, "Thank you." But Blue was a perfectly good game. It's just memories like that. It's why you love sports. This is memories like that. Man, this is a really off the rails kind of thing. I have a script I made for this, but I'm not following it really at all anymore. So I want to conclude this by saying I love sports. I love the people I meet during sports. I love the teams I root for. I love the players that play for it, and I love the stories of everyone involved. I love talking about everything, right? When I moved to a city where I knew really nobody, I was able to connect with a lot of people because of sports, either their love of sports at the same teams or rivalries with other teams, other people. It's something fun, you know, you can trash talk coworkers. It's something that grew a lot of friendship for me with other people. I've met great friends with it. It's a really important thing in my life, and I didn't want to have a channel where I never talked about it. So I'm probably going to talk about sports a little more specifically further on. Maybe it's going to be a little while till those happen. Again, this is going to be really infrequent because I know it does not match the rest of my channel. But, you know, I really had fun. I don't know. It's just fun. So hopefully this video didn't turn out like a complete mess. If you want to see videos that are more like movies, video game stuff, I have 2 series. Blink You Should Watch, where I talk about movies or anime. And that series tells you what it is, why you should watch it, what it's similar to. Link to that going to be in the end title. And I also do my regular series, Cold Hearted Complaints, where I talk about and complain about various issues, give my view on things for different movies and anime, or retrospectives, or stuff like that. Link for that also going to be at the end of this video as well. Thank you all for watching. This has been a very rambly, very, very weird video, but I'm glad I did it. So thank you for watching, and see ya whenever, if you'd ever watch me again. So see you. Bye.
We've been doing this for so long, and yet it's come to this. We feel you've been treating us wrong, yet you sit there and insist. No, you two are great. Why don't you just wait? Just know this, there is no hate, but let me translate. We wish you the best of luck, but you guys are a bunch of schmucks. Playing with you guys is a real crime. We quit, for real this time.